Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Kramb. I'm a writer and a poet, and I'm here today to record this little video in support of the Stephen Spander Translation Prize. For this prize you can translate any poem from any language into English, and today we're looking at the music in poetry. This is all about listening to the music. My mother tongue is German. I grew up in Germany and I moved to London straight after school, and I've been living in English now for about 17 years. All my creative writing, all my fiction and poetry are in English. I don't think I've ever written a poem in German, which puts me in a very strange kind of place. And it obviously shapes the way I experience, read, feel and hear both English poetry and German poetry. But if you think about the music in poetry, it often struck me that you, at least for myself, you don't really even need to understand the language the poem is in to get the music. And I think that's why poetry is so close to music itself and the way we experience that art form and the way it sort of goes straight in. And I think when it comes to translating poetry, it's really, really, really important to capture and take with you some of that music. So I'm going to read three poems to you today, and I'm not even going to say too much about them in the spirit of listening to the music. But the first one is by Rilke, one of the well-known German language poets, and the first one probably who came to me as a young person. Yeah, that's coming across this little book, and I have it here actually. This little booklet which I came across was probably still too young for poetry, which kind of got me hooked on the whole thing, for better or for worse. And Rilke has stayed with me ever since, and I keep going back to him whenever I can. And I think there's great music in his poetry all around. Okay, here we go. This one is called Herbsttag, Autumn Day, Herbsttag. Herr, es ist Zeit. Der Sommer war sehr groß. Legt einen Schatten auf die Sonnenuhren und auf den Fluren lasst die Winde los. Befiehl den letzten Früchten voll zu sein, gib ihnen noch 2 südlichere Tage. Dränge sie zur Vollendung hin und jage die letzte Süße in den schweren Wein. Wer jetzt kein Haus hat, baut sich keines mehr. Wer jetzt allein ist, wird es lange bleiben, wird wachen, lesen, lange Briefe schreiben und wird in den Alleen hin und her unruhig wandern, wenn die Blätter treiben. It's those 2 lines. Whoever has no home now will build none. Whoever is alone will long remain so. Wer jetzt kein Haus hat, baut sich keines mehr. Wer jetzt allein ist, wird es lange bleiben. It's amazing music to that, I think. Okay, the second poem is by Celan. One of those poets who I feel are so intensely and deeply connected to some force for which there is no real word, and that's reflected in the music. I'm going to read you a short one. Fadensonnen. Fadensonnen über der grauschwarzen Ödnis. Ein baumhoher Gedanke greift sich den Lichtton. Es sind noch Lieder zu singen, jenseits der Menschen. There are still songs to be sung on the other side of mankind. Es sind noch Lieder zu singen, jenseits der Menschen. And I'm leaving you with a poem by Friedrich Hoelderlin. Again, probably Hoelderlin, like most of all the German poets, kind of such an intense character, and you know, we're trying to make sense of these people now, looking back, with the kind of the way they live with poetry and words, and where it came from, and how it drove them, mad. And Hoelderlin in the end was completely insane. I mean, many people would say. But that force that drives the words out brings us to music. And I'm going to, lots of fragments and things. I'm going to read you just 4 lines from Patmos. Nah ist und schwer zu fassen der Gott. Wo aber Gefahr ist, wächst das Rettende auch. The God is both very close and really hard to grasp, and where there's danger, the saving also grows. Wo aber Gefahr ist, wächst das Rettende auch. So there you go. There are my 3 poems for you. I could read many others. I personally also have never really translated poetry. I would love to one day. It's an amazing achievement, probably one of the hardest tasks that exists in this world, but probably also one of the most rewarding. And I would just encourage everyone to have a go, have a try, go at it, and just, you know, to take in the original with all you are, and try to bring it out once again with all you are. And whatever you do, listen to the music.